Women don't want to speak out for help because if I speak out, it can't be that bad. You was there for that long. The second Cassie filed a lawsuit, what they say, oh, well, she just wants some money. Why, if it was that bad, why she stay? And then it wasn't until they released that video of her being dragged. Well, how many women have a video of them being dragged?
I just wanted it to be over. That's what Cassie Ventura told the jury in Sean Combs' trial.
This is a horrendous relationship, and she suffered a lot.
There's clearly domestic abuse here.
But see, an abuser doesn't want the truth out. The abuser always wants to be the victim. They never want the other side told. They want to keep you broken, busted, and disgusted.
Have you ever seen anybody lose it all due to a bad contract?
You can lose it all by not having a contract, or people think I'm about to go Google a contract. I'm gonna go do it in ChatGPT. It's not the paper, it's the words on the paper.
Kanye West, he ended up losing especially a lot of money.
I beg to differ. I think Kanye West outsmarted them.
People are saying, hey, listen, I've worked so hard to be able to get to where I'm at right now. So a lot of times they're like, yo, I would not marry somebody because there is a possibility where it's gonna end.
Why is she gonna come take you for everything you had unless you didn't do something? He may put a mask on. He may pretend to be everything you want. And then once you get married and push out that kid, the real person shows up. You don't want to lose all what you have. Same way, protect yourself.
For like women out there who are, going through something similar, they're getting into business with like a partner and then things don't go well. How can they like legally protect themselves?
So to protect yourself in business, woman or man, you want to make sure that.
All right, guys, so before we jump into the episode, just want to make a big announcement. We just launched a Motion and Success community, guys. So in this community, we're going to be giving you the game on content. Basically, how to grow your profile from 0 to 100K in under a year, as well as how to make money online, getting leads for your business, more customers, more money.
Also, for the Motion and Success podcast, one of the things that I realized, we're attracting a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, and people that are just starting up their business and they're looking to start growing their business and scaling. One of the key factors to growing a business is by borrowing capital. So now when you're going out to certain banks, there's certain things that you need to do to be able to get funding for your business, to be able to start, grow, and scale what you got going on and take things to the moon. So if you're looking to go out and start growing and scaling your business like a lot of our guests has been doing, I'm going to teach you how to go out and get access to capital, access to credit cards, lines of credit, loans, things of that nature, so that way you can start growing your business. Sometimes you might just need an extra 50,000. Sometimes it might be 100,000. But listen, check us out inside the community. Go ahead and click the link down below and book a call with us. And I'm going to see you guys inside the community. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Welcome back to another episode of Motion and Success, y'all. Listen, my name is Cody Brown. I got my co-host with me today.
It's Ayo, and like I always say, we back with another great episode, and we got a repeated guest, man.
We got a repeated guest. This is Tom Sue. Actually, I would definitely say one of our top view videos, no, not video, podcasts on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
One of the top Instagram reels that, we shared on Instagram has been going crazy. Her story has been touching a lot of women, a lot of people all around the world. So I think it's only right that Joi comes back on the pod and share a little bit more, because I feel like the conversation that we had is just scratching the surface for a lot of the things that you do, and some of the things that you've accomplished. So
definitely, I know the last one was a really good one. Like all over YouTube, people was commenting. Like it was crazy, bro.
Yeah,
but what's crazy, you had said it after the last episode.
I said that was my top two.
Really?
I did.
Did.
I don't know if you remember. I said that was my top two. I had, and then you said, nah, it has to be top one, because I can't be number two, basically. Right. So pretty much that's how it went. But the comments was saying, I'm like, she looks like I know you probably get this so often.
Janelle
Monáe. That was one of the huge feedback. But this is not Janelle Monáe. This is Joi Hunt.
This is Joi Hunt.
Joi, go ahead, reintroduce yourself. Tell the people about yourself, and we can start from there.
Okay. Hi, I'm Joi. I'm your business bestie. I have been a business attorney and serial entrepreneur for the last 20 years, and I help entrepreneurs structure, fund, and market their business to the bank.
Let's get it. Let's go. All right, cool. You can start off, bro.
So I definitely want to start off like, like how we were mentioning earlier, you know, the last time you were here, you gave a really like emotional story, and it went crazy. Like it went crazy all over the internet. I'm not sure if you took a look at our like YouTube channel, but it's almost at like 2 million views.
Really?
Like 4,000 comments. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So a lot of people, like, you know, they were just like acknowledging like your strength to tell a story like that. You know what I mean? And it was just like, it was like mostly positive comments. But a lot of women too came on and said, hey, you know, I had a similar experience. You know, I lost everything. It's just like people started, you know, it was literally like a family in the comments.
Right.
Through the content. So definitely want to know, like, how did like what kind of feedback did you get after sharing something like that? Or were you even paying attention to like the comments and things that people were saying? Or how did you, you know, after sharing something like that and it going viral like that, like what kind of feedback did you get from it?
So I got a lot of DMs of women saying, oh my gosh, I have the same story. Oh my gosh, what did you do? Oh my gosh. And so that's what really inspired me, you know, to write my book and speak out more on it, because a lot of women go through similar things. It's embarrassing, so we don't want to talk about it. So I feel like there's a stigma. If someone does say something, the first thing a person will say is, well, why did you stay? And you should have chose better. And, you know, so you get like a lot of backlash. And then I see that there's a void for like some kind of, I don't want to say a support group, but like a support group to kind of help you as far as how do you go from there and then get through it, but then thrive in life after something like that. So a lot of feedback I got was women just saying, hey, like, thank you. I'm going through the same thing, or I went through the same thing.
Now that you've been sharing your story, do you feel like, all right, cool, at this point, you're more of a life coach or more of like a business coach at this point? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people, when they come and, you know, they share what's going on in their life and they're looking for help. You know what I mean? So do you are you more like life coaching? Like, is that something you do too? Or is it like?
No, I do not do life coaching. I will get you from point A to point B, whatever that is. So what I've seen is a lot of women will book a consultation with me and we'll start off with business structure, or we'll start off with, here's my problem. And then about 15 minutes in, oh, by the way, I'm going through a divorce, and boom, 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 boom. Or I was helping my husband with his business and I found out he's having an affair. What do I need to do? What's the game plan? So I then have also now started my community, see, at the Bank University. It's business, but I do a lot of motivational things in there. And I do talk about like different ways of what you need to do to get yourself financially ready if you choose that right now is the time for me to leave. Because you can't just leave. You got to make a plan.
Yeah. So for like women out there who are, you know, going through something similar, they're getting into business with like a partner and then things don't go well. How can they like, you know, legally protect themselves? Because, you know, your situation was like, you know, you had the LLC under someone else's name. Correct. So how can like a woman out there who might be going through something like this, or they might be in that stage where like, yo, they're so deeply in love, they're not, and they never know what could happen. Like, how would they protect themselves?
So to protect yourself in business, woman or man, you want to make sure that you're running it like a business, meaning no matter who the people are, we got to take away those titles. So we're not best friend, we're not mom, we're boo, we are partner one and partner two. So in a real business, you need to have contracts. In a real business, your name needs to be on the LLC, on the corporation. In real business, you need to have an operating agreement stating who owns what. So we got to run it like a real business. So number one, you want to make sure that your name is on all of the legal documentation. If for whatever reason, like in my situation, we had a tax lien, so we used my father-in-law, I should have had a partnership agreement with my father-in-law, right? Saying, hey, although you're on the LLC, I am due 50% of the profits of these entities, right? But because that's my father-in-law, I've been taking care of him for the past 10 years, he lives on my property. I thought it was good. I thought wrong, right? So you want to make sure that you have all these things in place. Another contract you want to think about having, if you, I would say man or woman, is a prenuptial or a postnuptial agreement. So when you get married, once you get married, everything becomes community property. So when you divorce, you're going to split the community. The community is the assets you've acquired while you're married. A prenuptial agreement says that there is no community property. The community never starts. So whatever I earn is mine. Whatever you have is yours. We never combine everything. It's also what's considered marriage insurance. Now, it doesn't mean that you get nothing. It's a contract. And you can put in the contract what you want. You'll get X amount of money for all the years you stay together. If you push out X amount of kids, you can put in there exactly, if we decide to leave, who's leaving with what. So while everyone is lovey-dovey and we're happy, we're writing out what we want to do in case this marriage doesn't work. You have car insurance. You don't want to get in a car accident, but in case you do, you're covered.
Right.
A postnuptial agreement works the same as a prenup, but you're signing it after you're married. So we already got married, but I want to make sure that, we kind of just don't have everything combined. So you can have a postnuptial agreement. That way, when it's time to leave, I know exactly what I'm leaving with. We don't have to fight in court. Like I'm on year 3 fighting in court. You have all these legal fees and all that. So I call that what's called marriage insurance. That's another way of protecting yourself.
How would you how would you suggest like couples have that conversation? Because nowadays it's hard to bring up like I want a prenup, and it might show like a lack of trust, or you're planning for something to end. So how could somebody have that conversation with their partner?
Easy. Have it. So when you're okay, be transparent. I want this to work. I don't want to use the prenup. I don't even expect to even have to pull this paper out. But here's the thing. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I don't know what you're going to do. I'm keeping it real. A prenup doesn't mean you don't get anything. I think the misconception is you don't get anything. You can get X amount of money for every year you stay together. You can get whatever you want to put in the prenup, you put in there. It's just that if this doesn't work out, I know what I'm leaving with. Now, there are also other things we can put in a prenup. For example, there can be an infidelity clause. So if you are caught to be unfaithful, that will negate the prenup. Meaning if I marry you and I don't have any money and you have all the money, I can have an infidelity clause. So if you cheat, this prenup, boop, boop, now I get half. So what I would say is, it may be a hard conversation. Why don't you go to a family law attorney, sit down, like how you go to marriage counseling, go to a family law attorney, and you want them to explain to you all the different things that you should have in the prenup, how it protects you, that everyone's on the same page and you understand what it is. You have the conversation now. Not having the conversation doesn't solve the problem. It just makes the problem get bigger, because how is she feeling? How are you feeling? How do we get on one accord? Hey, it's Joy. I'm your favorite business bestie. How fire is this episode? Tap in below. So if you are looking to structure, fund, or market your business, if you're looking to know how to get free money for your business, you want to join my 5-day business challenge, go to seeyouatthebank.com. All the information is there. Also, if you are just stuck, you need some kind of motivation, how to get to that next level, I have a book, Right Package, Wrong Address, that is for you. seeyouatthebank.com, link in the description.
Wait, so, all right, so I have 2 questions. So now, a lot of times is what I'm realizing and what people are saying all over the internet is men, are saying, listen, I'm not getting married legally. We just gonna do everything in the church, right? What's like you know, you're going to have the ceremony, you're going to have the family, you're going to have the wedding, but there is no legal documentation. Because a lot of times is, you know, more than likely they're saying that the marriage is going to end. Like, what's your take on that?
I think that,
just to prevent everything from happening.
I think that's foolish. And let me tell you why I think that's foolish. And this is what this little new generation is doing. this little new generation, these little YNs, y'all are doing, to me, a lot of y'all are doing stuff backwards, right?
Yeah.
So, what is the point of playing house without having a house? What's the point? It doesn't make sense to me. So, if your thought is, I don't want to get married because I don't want to lose anything, my question is going to be, are you marrying the right person? If you marry the right person and you've done your due diligence, 9 out of 10 times, you know, we won't have these problems. Clearly, I didn't do my due diligence, right? You there will be an instance like my situation where I married someone who pretended to be something, ended not being who I thought he was, and then now I'm losing everything. So
right.
I'm just because you marry someone that you thought was going to be the one, don't mean that's the one, right? But why would you? I'm not going to play house.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to play house because number one, marriage is the number one way to build wealth. When you make that formal commitment, not play house, not pretend to be married, number one, it's going to give that woman a reassurance that you're down with her. If you marry a real woman, she's going to fight for you. She's going to pray for you. She's going to pour into you. She's going to lift you up. She's going to make you feel like you are the man. So when you walk out there in this thing called life, you can go out there and fight those battles. A real woman, that's what she does. And when you marry her, you give her that security that you're down. If you don't marry her, in the back of my mind, well, you're not all in. So if you're not all in, why am I all in? If you're not in, why am I pushing these kids? We aren't all in.
But once you say it's almost equivalent to having that easy conversation, you know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, cool. The argument is, you know, people are saying, hey, listen, you know, I've worked so hard to be able to get to where I'm at right now. So a lot of times they're like, yo, I would not marry somebody because, you know, there's a possibility where it's going to end. Same thing.
The prenuptial agreement makes sure that what you have and what she has doesn't combine. So all you have to do is have a prenuptial agreement. Women, make sure there's an infidelity clause in the prenuptial agreement. And so if you hold up to your end of the bargain and I hold up to my end of the bargain, we're going to be in bliss. Now, a lot of times, the reason why a man doesn't want to do that on the flip side, because he know I'm out of order. And if I'm out of order and she mad and she scorned, she gonna take me for everything I have. So it's not just, why is she gonna come take you for everything you had unless you didn't do something? No.
I mean, some people got ill intentions from the jump, you know.
Correct.
There's mothers raising daughters. Hey, listen, make sure you go find a nice fella. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Settle down. Have a child or two. You know what I mean? And then, you know, it was all a part of the plan. So
Correct.
That's usually the argument, but I ain't gonna.
I
hear what you're saying though.
Not. Joi got a point, but what I was thinking too is, you know, it's just. Because I know we probably spend a lot of time on this topic, but thinking about it though, it's like a lot of times, like the men they see in the news, they see in the media. A lot of times, a lot of guys, they end up getting divorced and like half their net worth is gone, like constantly.
So a lot of times what people don't talk about is what just because someone's earning the income doesn't mean they're earning it on their own, right? So if we get married and you want the wife to stop her career and she's now devoting herself to being the stay-at-home wife, the stay-at-home mom, taking care of the home, taking care of the kids, getting the kids everywhere, making sure that you have all what you need to go out there and make the money. And now we leave. Okay, so as the wife, I'm married for 20 years. I stopped my career development. I can't just go out into the job market with a 20-year gap of employment on my resume. So do I get compensated for running the home? Yes, I didn't go to the corporate boardroom. No, I didn't make any deals. But you couldn't have succeeded and worked that corporate ladder if I wasn't holding down the house. If you had to leave every meeting to go to PTA meetings and ballets and this, you would not be able to walk the corporate ladder. So for that, I'm just being compensated. And the rule is when you get married, the community property, it's 50-50. That's what it is. The woman should get compensated for her role in the marriage.
That makes a lot, that right there makes a lot more sense. See, because a lot of times, a lot of people, they're thinking like, yo, hey, the guys, that's the fear that, most of us have is like, damn, like, we go to court, it's an automatic L, but it makes a lot of sense now, thinking about, the women staying at home, helping you, probably cooking, cleaning, and doing certain things. So she definitely deserves.
Besides cooking and cleaning, a woman may not be in the business, but she may be handling everything else for you, right? She may be doing all the little small odd ends. All that stuff makes a difference. Now, on the flip side, there is going to be a girl who's at home painting her toes, doing nothing, not pouring into you. She's just a mess, right? And if that's the case, you got a bad end of the deal. Yeah. But the way that the law was structured was, if we build this thing together, just because you're out there going to do the work doesn't mean that this other person didn't play a part. Yeah. So that's where that comes into. But once again, if you want to alleviate all that, a prenuptial agreement or a postnuptial agreement. Same for women, because women, there are going to be men out here that when they see that you can make $1 out of 15 cents, they want to go ahead and hitch themselves onto you. It works both ways now.
Yep.
So you want to make sure as you're building your net worth and you marry someone and he may put a mask on, he may pretend to be everything you want, and then once you get married and push out that kid, the real person shows up. So now if you don't want to lose all what you have, same way, protect yourself.
I think this might be a controversial question, but you've been sharing your story all over the place. You know what I mean? You've been on many different platforms. You've been very transparent. How has things been with your ex-husband? Like, has he ever reached out like, yo, Joi, I seen this story? Like, or is that something
Funny you ask. Well, number one, we don't talk. We talk via an app called Talking Parent. Talking Parent is a court-ordered app so that all of the communication can be recorded. So he ain't just calling my phone. No, we ain't doing that, right? So I have gotten letters from his attorneys talking about me, talking about him, and I'm like, well, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about what I endured, but I talk about my story, not my husband shot at me and tried to kill me and then took all the money out of the accounts, and then he, locked me on my businesses and what was me. I say all that as the intro to, and let me tell you how I overcame that, and here's how you can overcome being in a tough spot. But see, an abuser doesn't want the truth out. The abuser always wants to be the victim. They never want the other side told. They want to keep you broken, busted, and disgusted. They want to silence you. And so I share my story to also help inspire other women to embrace what you've been through and go thrive. Thrive in spite of being left. Thrive in spite of not knowing your dad. Thrive in spite of being raped. Thrive and use your story as your platform.
Right.
But I've gotten letters from his attorneys. I just ignore all that.
Wow. And before we even we pivot, I did want your take on this whole viral case going on right now with Cassie and Diddy. Like, what was your view? Because it's like a similar situation where we all thought it was all rainbow and sunshine when we see them out in the public, but behind the scenes it was like horrible things going on. So were you shocked by that, and or why she ended up staying for so long?
So the number one reason why women stay is going to be either number one, they don't know how to leave. So where did you want Cassie to go? How did you want her to leave? When we watch the video of her trying to leave the hotel room, and Diddy comes and drags her and beats her like a rag doll, where is she going to that a man with that kind of money, that amount of power can't go find where she is and bring her back, right? If I leave, am I endangering someone else? If I leave, is there some kind of incriminating evidence or a video that I don't want to be exposed? So whenever someone is in an abusive relationship, there is some kind of disproportionate level of power. That's why she's not leaving. The power may be, number one, financially. She doesn't feel like she can make it on her own, or she doesn't have access to the money. A lot of times in an abusive, controlling relationship, the woman doesn't have access to the finances. Like for me, when I finally realized all I was going through, I realized every account I have access to, there's a limited amount of money. And when I bring it up and I get access to another account, the money inadvertently leaves that account and goes somewhere. So I'm always stuck with the card that has a couple $1,000s to it. And if I bark too much, now perfume bars are being thrown at me. I'm being hollered at. Now the kids are there. I'm trying to calm everything down. There is some kind of disproportionate level of power. So she's not just staying to stay. Number two, there may be kids involved, right? And as a woman, a lot of us have this vision, I know I did, that a two-parent home is, I want my kids in a two-parent home. If I can just get you to just behave, we have this great two-parent home. Not realizing, baby, this two-parent home, baby, is a mess. These kids is hearing arguments. It's toxic, but it's two parents. It's two parents. I came from two parents. That is so important to me. So when a woman stays, y'all think she gonna just pack up and leave. A lot of times she can't leave. And so women don't want to speak out for help, because if I speak out, it can't be that bad. You was there for that long. That's the first. The second Cassie filed the lawsuit, what they say, oh, well, she just wants some money. Why, if it was that bad, why she stay? And then it wasn't until they released that video of her being dragged. Well, how many women have a video of them being dragged? They don't have that, right? People still talking about Cassie at the trial. Girl, she's been through do you think she went through all of that for her will? She's on drugs. It's a whole lot of stuff, right? So instead of saying why she stayed, how come we can't stay? How can we help this woman heal and move on? So a woman stays sometimes. She financially can't leave. She's trying to understand, where am I going to go? When a woman is being abused, 9 out of 10 times, the abuser has isolated. It's a process. On day one, you're not beating me. On day two, you're not slapping me. On day three, it's over time. It's like a paper cut. Over time, they're going to isolate you. So every friend, every outlet you have, they're going to cause some kind of strife between that. So it's just easier. We won't argue just to be, I'm just by myself. So now I don't have an outlet. I don't have friends I'm talking to on a consistent basis. I've been cut off from family, from a lot of things, because I'm tired of having all these arguments. You're walking around on eggshells. You're drained. You're tired. You are busted and disgusted. They complain about everything. So the woman is walking around as an eggshell. She's just tired. I gotta now leave. And it's not until you realize, baby, I am existing, or something happens for me. Oh, what, you're having affairs with employees? Baby, let me get this back. Deuce, come on, we go. Baby, I'm tripping. Let me go. Yeah. So a woman stays, there's some disproportionate level of power. She's drained, she's busted and disgusted. Stop saying, why are you staying, versus saying, let me help you heal and be able to get that strength to move on.
I'm glad you said that too, because a lot of people, they were saying, oh, she's an upset ex, because he moved on.
She's not an upset ex. Number one, she never went to the police to file a criminal charge. Everything was civil. Number two, what he did to her, it was horrible. Yeah. It was horrible. And it's manipulation. It's a whole bunch of, it's like a whole, it's just a lot. Okay? It's a lot. So why do we always jump on the victim? This is why women don't speak out. Because the first thing we look at is, what did you do to cause this to you, versus looking at the other person saying, why would you allow this to happen? There's a big age gap. The finances, the power. Especially if he's helping take care of family members. If I leave, my mom's rent won't get paid, right? It's a lot of things. So it's just a lot. Right. And abuser doesn't abuse every single day. So there's bad days and there's good days. So you're on this seesaw of, and then she really likes him. Like, you may like your abuser. I know it sounds bad, but I like him. I love him. If he would just act right, we'd be good. So it's battling all of that on top of whatever internal scars or trauma you have. Like, I know for me, my parents got divorced. So I didn't want to have divorce for my son. So I'm okay with not being happy as long as my son is good. We have a nice family dynamic. Everything was going on the outside. I'm trying to hold everything together, not realizing, baby, it just needs to go. It just needs to go.
That's a you really broke it down right there. Yeah. But let's not spend too much time on this topic. We jumped in hot.
I do want to pivot for sure. Yeah. So I know you're a business coach, and not life coach is not a primary thing for you. It's just something that you're sharing your story.
Correct.
Right? So now, what's like some of the exit plans, like some of the ways that people can go out here and start making some money? Because I know, you teach how to get the bag, how to flip the bag, how to get access to funding. Like, what's some of the ways on, how people can start, generating more income and things of that nature?
So if you're looking for funding, business grants are a great way of getting debt-free money into your business. So you don't have to, get all this debt in the beginning. I would say business grants would be a great way to get funding for your business, establishing business credit. Making money is what can you sell? What product or service can you sell? And so if it's a service, if it can be any industry, right? As long as you can sell it and you want to sell the problem. So you want to sell the problem, your product or service is the solution. So your job is to go out there and get as many, find the source of a whole bunch of people that have that problem, and then you go put your business right there. And that's a way to generate sales quickly.
When it comes to getting grants, it's a little bit different from like traditional funding. Like, how do you get grants for like a business? Do you have to like write out a proposal? Fill out a whole bunch of applications, or is it something where you're fighting for, they only have $100,000, so your thing must be the best, or you have to be an established business? Like, what's the process to be able to get grant funding?
So normally you got to have an LLC, EIN, business bank account. Most business grant applications are going to be online. They're going to ask you questions. You fill them out online. Some grants are super simple. There's a Galaxy of Star grant. It's $3,500. It has 5 questions: your name, your email, your zip code, a drop down box to answer your race, and a drop down box to answer what sex you are. And that's it.
And it'll give you $3,500.
$3,500. You don't even have to have a business. Either you can be starting a business or you have a business. See, the misconception is that it's so hard to get a business grant, so we never go and apply.
Right.
That's why I did my business grant bundle. I have a business grant bundle. It's going to give you 1,000 business grants. I update the list every single month, so you know exactly what business grant is available. I have training classes that break down how to answer the questions, and they're going to ask you, why do you need the money? What do you use the money for? What makes your business unique? What challenges do you face? But they're going to ask you, most grants ask the same question. So once you make your answer out, all you're doing is copying and pasting the same answer on the grant. We're going to be just changing what our budget is, what you're asking for.
So wait, so what's really behind it? So you just fill out your name, race, gender.
On that grant, yes. Other grants will ask you questions.
No, but what's behind that? Like, what's the stipulate? Like, they're just gonna give you $3,500 just for putting that information? Is there
If you're
anything?
picked, that's it.
Oh, you have to get picked.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
okay,
the application.
okay,
I'm trying to tell you
okay,
how simple the
okay.
application is.
Okay. All right, cool. Is there like most times do you have to write an essay or something like
They're
that?
going to ask you questions. So I tell people, a lot of times people number one, either want just this random number, like they don't have a rhyme or reason behind what they're asking for.
Right.
Or they're going to make their business sound poor. Oh my gosh, help me. I don't have any clients. I need money. No. You want to ask yourself, what does my business need to make money in the next 30 days? And go ask for that. So if you're mobile and then now having a storefront where we'll bring you more clientele, ask for rent. If hiring someone to do that mundane, answer the phone, emails, that will free you up to work on your business, ask for payroll for other employees. If going to a conference to help you teach a new skill or be able to network to be able to get to another level, ask for the conference. Ask for what's going to make your business more money in the next 30 days. And I break all this down in my business grant bundle.
Okay.
That's a lot of game. I do want to jump into like the lawsuit side of things, especially for like business owners, entrepreneurs. Could somebody get sued like personally, even if they have an LLC in place? Like, could somebody still attack them personally if they like, let's say they, the person might have feel like they didn't get the service that they paid for, or they didn't get the service that they paid for. Can they sue the person personally?
Yes, they can sue the person personally. You can sue anybody, right? Now, whether you will stay on the lawsuit or you'll be removed from the lawsuit because you're the wrong party, you will be removed personally because that customer did business with Joi's LLC, not Joi. So yes, they can throw your name on the lawsuit, but your attorney can get you removed saying you are the wrong party. The correct party to be sued in this situation is Joi's LLC.
So their assets will be protected. They don't have to worry about really losing anything in that situation, like their personal assets.
Their personal assets will be protected if Joi's LLC was ran like Walmart. Now, if they pull those business bank statements and you got Fashion Over the hookah bar haircut on there, well, then now they're going to do what's called pierce the corporate veil, saying you weren't running it like a business, so now there is no LLC, so now we can come after Joi's assets. If you didn't file your LLC annual report and now your LLC is inactive, well, then now you don't have an LLC, and then now I can come get your personal assets. If you didn't have the right licenses, permits, and insurance, well, then they're going to pierce the corporate veil, meaning disregard your LLC, and now I can get your assets. So forming the LLC is the first part, but running it like it's Walmart keeps that asset protection.
So today, a lot of people like they're doing business, especially now, like the entrepreneur space, online coaching. They're doing like paid ads with certain influencers, they're getting like brand ambassadors and things like that. What are some things that they should have in place so that way, like they're like the influencer or whoever they pay, fulfills that whatever they pay them for? Because a lot of times I see a lot of people, they go online, they calling people out. Hey, I paid this person, they never fulfilled this. I paid her for an ad, she never fulfilled this. So what can somebody do to kind of like protect themselves from like that getting ripped off? So
that's where contracts come into place. I would have an influencer agreement. You'll pay half, and then you'll pay the remaining balance once they fulfill the ad. You should have in your contract exactly what you want them to do. So you need to look a certain part. Like don't come promote Joi's Joi's lip gloss with this bonnet on your head and these mismatched t-shirt and sweats, right? So whatever you want them to do, it needs to be in writing. So you need to, have your makeup on, have your hair done, do this, do that. I expect this to be done in this time frame. I need it to be on these platforms. I want it to, whatever you want, it needs to be in the contract. That's the importance of contract. So when something goes wrong, we go right here to this piece of paper to see what was supposed to be done. That wasn't done. So now you owe me X amount for not following this. Just because they're an influencer, don't just send them your money thinking, oh my God. See, we think we're about that they're about to give us that big break. It's not them.
Yeah.
Right? You want to run it like a business because once they get that money, who's to say that they're going to fulfill their end of the bargain?
Have you ever seen anybody lose it all due to a bad contract, like based on your experience?
You can, by not having a contract. Exhibit A is me, right? So I didn't have a contract. I started the business. I put all the money up in the business. I worked the business. I did not have a contract. I did the whole family thing, and there is no family in business. Run it like a business. And so now I am fighting for my due share. So yes, you can lose it all by not having a contract, or people think I'm about to go Google a contract. I'm gonna go do it in ChatGPT. It's not the paper, it's the words on the paper. So I've done consultations where the parties are in California, but the contract says it's governed by the laws of New York. So I'm like, baby, this contract, you're going to be flying to New York. New York? I got it off of Google. No. So I have custom contracts on my website. You want to make sure that, number one, that you have a good contract. Number two, you understand what the contract says. You just have a piece of paper that doesn't protect you. So as the business owner, you want to know exactly what everything says in the contract so you know what's being protected. So on my contract templates, I have 4 contracts. I'm going to give you the actual contract to use. I'm going to have an explanation contract, right? I have the entire contract. Under each paragraph in green, I, in layman terms, say this paragraph is saying blah, 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 blah. So you know what it is that you're signing and what's being protected.
See, a lot of people don't do that. They don't do that these days. Because even if you look back at the situation with Kanye West, when things hit the fan, he ended up losing especially a lot of money. And then also they were like using his IP rights, and it was just a whole bunch of Kanye, like with the whole Adidas.
I beg to differ. I think Kanye West outsmarted them.
You think so?
I know so. Number one, they had a contract.
Yeah.
Kanye West never quit. Kanye West went and said some anti-Semitic, Semitic comments that he knew Adidas wasn't gonna like and couldn't stand for. So what did Adidas do? They terminated his contract. Kanye wanted to get out the contract. So on the outside, it looked like Kanye lost. Kanye didn't lose nothing. Kanye got out of a contract he couldn't have gotten out of. If he had left, they would have sued him, and he would have had to pay them money. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say something that I know you ain't going to stand for, and you're going to do what I want you to do. You're going to terminate the contract. So now Kanye's free. They then tried to sell his shoe. Kanye said, baby, I own the intellectual property. That's my name. So Adidas lost millions of dollars because they could not sell the Yeezys because he owned his name, Yeezy. So financially, Kanye took a dip, but then he came right back. See, in business, it's never steady. It's going to be up, down, up, down, up, down. And sometimes you got to take a hit for a bigger purpose. So to get out that contract, I'm going to lose something. I'd rather lose this, but I own all my rights to now be able to come back and do what I want to do. Kanye didn't lose. Kanye got exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be out of Adidas to go do his own thing.
So when it comes to like running a major brand, you've got a successful one for yourself. Who is like on your team, like when it comes to like, growing the business overall? Like who's the main role players that helps Joi be Joi?
I have a fabulous assistant who keeps everything going and keeps me knowing what I need to do next and right. I have I believe in mentorship.
Yeah.
So I believe in always working with someone who knows more than you to keep you growing. So I work with several different mentors in different areas. Like they're the expert in this, in this, in this. I have a great team that helps me run my challenges. I do a 5-day business challenge that you need to be in, learning how to structure, fund, and market your business. And they have a great team that gives me great ideas and helps me run those challenges. So you have to develop a team and like people to work with to take you to that next level. You cannot wear all the hats and scale and grow.
And then marketing, like what's your top 5 strategy or top 3 strategies you would usually go to for teaching somebody or even executing on your own?
How to market?
Yeah.
Okay. Strategy number 1 is you need to look like money at all times because you are your brand.
I seen you post on your story. Anytime you go to the airport, you gotta look clean.
Every time you walk out that house, you need to look like something.
Absolutely.
You need to look like something. Now, you don't have to be dressed to the 9. You know, you can have like a cute little workout outfit, baby. Give me a little gloss, give me a little something. So when you are talking to someone about your business, you look like you own a business. You can't sell a dream looking like a nightmare.
Yeah.
So number 1, you need to look the part. Your brand needs to look the part. So on your website, your social media, it needs to look branded. If my colors are blue and white, I shouldn't have green, purple, and yellow on my page. A person needs to know exactly what you do to help them when they come to your website or to your social media. So if in that bio, you aren't saying how you help them and what problem you solve them, if it's a whole bunch of pictures of you doing selfies of these kids or your coffee drink, they don't know how you help them. Number 3, you got to stand out in a crowded market. What are you doing to be unique, to be consistent, to always be showing up, to stand out in a crowded market? Number 4, you got to be consistent. You are not going to build $1 million brand in 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 year. But if you're consistent night after night, eventually it's going to be a brand, a 7-figure brand.
And I'm glad Cody mentioned the marketing, because I do see like you're one of the people who post basically every day. So how have you like surrounded like your lifestyle and everything you do around like marketing? Like you could probably be walking and then that's a piece of content. You'll give like a list and it's just like you regularly just casually walking, but it seems like all your contents is like strategic. Like everything is relating to like, you know, what you do, whether you're taking them to the challenge, whether you're taking them to somewhere where they can get more game. Like, are you the one posting all of this? Like, wow.
Yeah, I do everything.
Wow.
So I always say, however many times you want to make a deposit at the bank, that's how many times you should post on social media. So you can't post 1 time a week and expect to get clients. How many times is Fashion Nova gonna text and email you
Every day?
Yep.
Okay, so why are you not? Yeah. So make your life content, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. I believe in go make money by Monday. I don't care what's going on. I'm gonna get something up there to tell you about how I can help you with your business, with your marketing, with getting some money. I'm always telling you how I can help you. That's what marketing is. It never stops. It's the number 1 thing in business after your business structure, marketing. That is the lifeline of a business. Getting a customer to come in to your website, to your store is the hardest part in business. You have to market every single day, all day.
How has things been for you? I'm pretty sure, you know, because the last time we interviewed was like a few months ago. But
January?
It was like January. And I definitely seen a lot of growth since then. I'm seeing like, you know, you're on stages, you know, you're giving game, you're networking with the right people. Like I see Dion, you know, I see you on stage with Smitty, Darius, and you guys are out there giving hella game. So like, how has things changed and you know, really turned up from the last time we saw you?
I think I'm just doing more of the same thing. So God, number 1, is really blessing me. God's blessing me. He's putting me in different rooms. I am humbled to be able to be around some of the greats, you know, who have done this and mastered this online arena. I'm in a really good space, just personally, mentally, spiritually. I am thankful for my husband trying to kill me. I am thankful for him cheating on me. I am thankful for my in-laws betraying me, because it's like that let me just leave all that and be able to close that door and know I gave it all, and that season is now over. I understand why I had to go through all of this, because funny or not, my story is like kind of what made me pop. Besides my little dancing, like that's one thing that made me really grow. But me telling my story put me on different platforms, I feel, quicker. That's why I'm a big proponent of don't be ashamed of your story. Your test is your testimony. It will open up doors, because I'm being put on platforms I normally we wouldn't be put on this soon, because I went through this trauma, right? So I am blessed to be able to be, I would say, in full motion with being able to be around great people, being able to be on stage, being able to be on different podcasts. You know, life is just great. My son is great. So life has been great since I last saw you in January. And I feel I'm humbled for it being so good, because it was dark for a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's good to hear.
Yeah, and then even since then, you've got the book that you've been working on. Talk to us a little bit about the book.
Okay, so I have a book, The Right Address at the Right Package at the Wrong Address. So a book going over the 20 laws that I use to help make my comeback. So if you're at a dark place, if you've lost something, if you've gone through a tough time, a lot of times we want to look at ourselves like we were the problem. We aren't enough. We aren't. No. Sometimes you are the right package at the wrong address. You are the right person in the wrong friendship. You are the right thing in the wrong marriage. You are the right item at the wrong business. So it's not you got to change. You got to just change your surroundings. And so I speak about 20 different things I use to help come back, because when you go through a loss, a personal loss, a friendship loss, a business loss, and you get that Mike Tyson blow, it's hard to get back up sometimes. So I share some things that I did to help me not just get back up, but thrive. A lot of times we think like, well, I can get back up, but my life won't be the same without that job. It won't be the same without that partner. And you can thrive more than what it is when you left, because when God closes one door, he opens up a bigger door. But a lot of times it's not going to be an even exchange. I'm not closing this door and opening up this one. I may be closing this door, making you go through a season only to open up a bigger door later on. But in that dark season, we sometimes doubt and quit, or we keep knocking on the old door. And God's like, baby, I got something bigger and better for you. Just come on down here.
You shared it with me, but like, what was the inspiration on the name? Because I think that's a fire name. You know what I mean? Right package at the wrong location. Like, how'd you come about with the name?
So as I was driving from Houston to Florida when I was relocating, I was just everywhere mentally, because I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the way my marriage ended, wrap my mind around after all of that. And I didn't do any kind of cussing and fussing. I didn't call nobody. I still went back to work. I didn't tell no one. And it's like, now you try to kill me. It's like, I'm just trying to understand, like, what am I going through? And when you're going through something, the first thing you want to do is look at yourself to see what's wrong with you. And as I'm kind of reliving my life, I was like, girl, you were just with the wrong person. So I'm driving my truck, got my son in the back seat, and I'm like, you know what? I was the right package at the wrong address. I was like, maybe let me put a pin in that. And at first, I thought my book was going to be about me telling my story, because that's the season I was at. Then I was like, you know what, girl? Forget the story. I mean, I tell the story, but the point is to tell you what I did to overcome and how you can now overcome. So it was like, I want to help people overcome and get through and then thrive. So that's how I came up with the name Right Package, because you can be the right thing just in that wrong circle. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You got to just change your surroundings, change where you are.
Wait, so meanwhile you were driving and relocating from the situation that you just got out of, you knew in that moment you were going to write a book and you will tell this story?
Yes. Yes, I knew I was
100%.
100%. My plan was once I get divorced, I'm going to tell my story. I had no idea my divorce was going to be taking 3-4 years. So now I'm like, well, I got to wait all this time. Like, and God was like, girl, you ain't got to wait. You ain't got to wait, girl. Tell it now. So I said, okay, well, let me go ahead and tell it.
Yeah.
So I knew then about the name. I knew I was going to write a story. I thought the story was going to be telling my story about my marriage. I didn't know that I was going to thrive and live my best life after going through all of that. I had no idea about that. But that name came up and I knew I was going to write a book.
So last question not last question, but why now? Like, why did you think, I know you said, starting out the year, life's just been great. Like, what made you decide, all right, cool, let me go ahead and just write the book at this time?
I feel like it's now time to actually tell my story. I've been kind of dribbling my little story here and there, and I have gotten so much response from women that, I'm going through the same thing you're going through. How did you, get over? I've been stuck for the past. I had one lady tell me that she divorced her husband 10 years ago and she's still stuck because she can't get past that hurt of what he did. And so it's like, you know what? God has blessed God has blessed me abundantly to be able to heal, get through that. My son is thriving. Like, maybe God had me go through all of this for me to now be able to help other women be able to get through being stuck. Like, you may not have been shot at, it may not be a divorce, but you just may be stuck in life. You may just be existing. So let me kind of help other women now go and thrive. And I say women because that's who I am. But it's the same principles for men. If you're stuck, if you got fired from your job, if you had to close your business down, you feel like you're a failure, you're not. You're not. You're just going through life. Life has ups and downs. You are in a down season. Let's learn from that lesson. How are you going to make your comeback and make your mark on life? And that's what I want to get through to people to understand. No matter where you are, you can still get through it and then thrive. But what you're going through is going to take you to that next level.
You know what? Honestly, I think you really did pick the right name for that book.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Like, you are truly a package. I ain't gonna lie. You got the business side. You got that part down lock. You're a phenomenal speaker. You share your story and it helps people to get over what they're going through. A business attorney. You got over how many plus years in business? Over
20 something.
20
I'm
something plus.
I'm a little old.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I think that is the right name for the book. Like, I'm like, shit, like, that's a really, really good name.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
You got any set like release date for it?
Yeah.
It's going to be released. My book launch party is going to be the beginning of July.
That's nice. I was right there.
What's the idea like? Is it going to be like a mansion party? I know you go big. Is it going to be like
but here's the thing. When I do my marketing for like anything outside of just like social media, I hire for that. So I'm good at marketing, but when it comes to me, like, and I was in law school, I had a professor say, like, the dumbest attorney is the one that represents himself, right? So I'll do my marketing for like my social media page, but I like to always hire someone else and get their opinion as to what I need to do for this. So like a book release, like, that's not my lane. I don't do book release. So I hired a marketing team, icing agency, thebomb.com, Miss Skittles, to help me, release that book. So I don't know what the concept is. Girl, you just do what you do.
That's good. That's good.
So with like, because you got a large audience of, women. So would you recommend, like, in today's society, because it's like a big split. Like, you have some women who they want to be the housewife. They don't care about financial freedom. They don't care about, getting the bag. They just want to be taken care of. And then you got some women who they're out there killing it, like you, getting the bag, doing your thing. Would which direction are you like pushing the women in your audience, you know, because it's kind of like split in between, but it's pros and cons to both.
So my advice to women is you need to always be able to earn money. So if your goal, or if you're wanting to be a stay-at-home mom and be taken care of, nothing is wrong with that, right? I would just say make sure that you're always able to earn income. So if you are maybe a realtor before you got married, at least keep your license active. Because forget the man leaving you, right? What if your husband got into a car accident and he gets stuck in a coma for 6 months? What if he gets cancer and he can't work? What are you going to be able to do to help with the finances? Okay. Yes, you have insurance, and yes, you have a savings, but you can't live forever on your savings. So I believe that women should be able to financially contribute if they need to. So either have a side business. You don't have to be working 7 days a week, no days off, but sell a little Mary Kay, a little, be able to at least be able to, sell something. So if something were to happen, I can at least knock out the mortgage. I can at least help with a bill to help that savings that we have go a little further. I can still contribute. I believe in that, number one. Number two, when you give up that financial control, when you give a man the financial control, you are going to be linked to him and at his mercy. If you marry the right man, you're fine. If you marry the wrong man, it's going to be heartache and misery. The problem is you're not going to know in the beginning. So when you give that financial control over, the dynamics have now changed. You can't just leave because he's the one holding the money. You can't just leave because he has access to everything. You may know a little something, but do you really have enough money to see that? So it's, you pray to Jesus whenever you feel it's best for you. But if you listening to me, women, I would say make sure that you're able to earn something so that you're not always dependent on a man.
Right. Okay. And then your challenges you got going on. Like, can we talk a little bit about the challenge?
Sure.
Like how's the challenge? Like, what's usually the outcome of it?
I'm going to transform your life. I'm going to transform your life. So my 5-day business challenge is thebomb.com. You're going to spend 5 days with me life coaching, and I'm going to walk you through the entire stage of starting your business, how to structure it, whether you're brand new, how to structure if you have assets. So using a business structure system. So multiple things like parent companies, holding companies, trust, to kind of put layers between you and your assets. So when something has happened, it's a process and they can't get to everything. I'm going to break down how do you win business grants with no prior grant writing experience, because you are going to need some money to help scale your business, but you want to make sure that you're not just getting in all this debt if your business can't handle the debt. At different stages, your business can handle certain things, right? I'm also going to teach you how to market your business, how to have more money than month. How do you stand out in your crowded industry? How do you get rich from strangers? How do you have all the people who are searching for your product and service be able to find you? And then last but not least, what saved my life is digital products. Me selling my grant bundle paid my rent, provided for me and my son. So how are you able to either box up what you already know and put it in a digital product, or sell an already made digital product? You're able to make money in your sleep, make money in the carpool lane, make money while you're at your 9 to 5, have another stream of income, because one stream of income is too close to none. So that's my 5-day challenge.
Got it.
That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot of
Definitely
game in
a lot.
5 days.
Absolutely a lot. You got any other questions, bro?
I was just gonna say too, like, definitely want to commend you too on like the motherhood side too as well, because I see it online. You're taking your son to basketball practice, engaging in different sports, and that's really good to see. Especially being a boy mom, having your son in those activities. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah, no, it's really true. Because it's just. yeah, definitely wanted to give you a flowers for that too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, my boy be catching. Have you seen the picture with him catching huge fish?
Oh,
Yeah.
my son is I don't know where he got it from because I'm not an outside person. His daddy ain't an outside person, but he will fish all day long. I am going to the Bass Pro Shop, a place I never thought I would step foot in, every week, getting bait and worms, and of course, he has to switch out his fishing rod, and he's like me. We're gonna get all the equipment, so all the fisherman backpacks and a little container. We're gonna have it all, right? That's me. We're gonna have it all.
Yeah.
And when I started over, I said, whatever I start, I'm a mom first, and then I'm a businesswoman second. Because prior to that, I was the boss chick and I was a part-time mom. And I was fine with that, right? I didn't do anything I didn't want to do. But I said, no, this go around, I'm gonna be a mom first. And so I built my business in late hours so I can be a mom and do homework and all that stuff. So if you see, like, I'll go live 9, 10 o'clock, midnight. I started my business, being in the evening hours so I could be a mom. So in this season of my life, momming is what I do. And then my son, he did see his dad shoot at me. He's experienced the move. Like, he saw all of this. And so I try to make his life as normal as possible. So me putting him in sports was my way of trying to give him some kind of normalcy, some kind of distraction that your daddy ain't here, them other grandparents ain't here. Our life is way different. So sports has really helped him just, I think, acclimate and make friends. And it's been a really good transition. So I'm super blessed and thankful to God for that.
No, that's great. That's great. You got any direction where you see him, going? Like, you want to push him in the business side, entrepreneurship, or you don't know yet? It's just whatever.
It ain't never whatever. What you mean you don't know? Whatever. What? I ain't working this hard for it to be whatever. The sad thing, okay, let me not say the sad thing. Well, it's the sad thing. Ever since the shooting, he has stopped wanting to be an entrepreneur. So at our dealership, he used to do videos, right? I've always had my son in the business, and you're going to be a boss, and no. And I remember at his kindergarten graduation, they announced what you want to be, and all the kids want to be a fireman and basketball. And he said, I want to be an auto dealer. Like, he's always, from a young age, because I've always had him acclimated in the business. But once we got to Florida, he said he no longer wanted to, he no longer wanted to have a dealership because what happened at the dealership. Yeah. So he wants to be in the NBA. So as a mom, I'm struggling because I know that NBA run, it's like, baby, Keyshawn and them out there, balling 10 hours in the hot heat. My son, is he a little bougie, right? He good, but he a little bougie. So I don't know about the NBA, but I'm not going to be your dream killer. Yeah. You say you want to be in the NBA? Let's go. So he's in AAU basketball.
That's good.
He has a private coach who's training. I make him wake up early and go on basketball court and shoot these hoops. You need to be going to bed at a certain time. You need to be watching these drills. Like, if you want, you say you want to be in the NBA, let's go. We gonna work. But what I'm prefacing it now is, okay, but after the NBA, because you can only play for so long, you got to have a business afterwards. So what are you going to do now? So we've had Corey sports bracelets. I make him start businesses. He's very entrepreneurial. He will negotiate you. He has it in him. Right now, he's just focused on the NBA. So instead of me trying to redirect him, I'm trying to inadvertently say, well, you got to have a business after the NBA, or as you're on the NBA, have a business too. Like LeBron, he has this and he has that, because LeBron is his man, right? So now he's open to having something else after he plays sports. But I am definitely rearing him to be an entrepreneur, because I'm telling him, Corey, if you play basketball, that's a contract. After so long, your time is done. Well, LeBron is still like, oh, LeBron, like LeBron, if you could just retire, you make my life easier. But So I'm trying to redirect him, but still do what he wants to do, so he can still fulfill his dreams. But he needs to know. He knows you need to have something else after if this NBA thing doesn't work out.
Now you want to know what's crazy too? It's one NBA player who I think he was kind of like raising like a single family kind of home, but his mom is a lawyer, so his mom handles all his finances. Like she's the one who controls his entire, all his assets and everything. Apparently nothing is in his name. So
Gotcha.
he
Yeah,
can probably win that player.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now that's good. That's really good to hear. And I feel like this was definitely a good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really, really
I
good
agree.
Conversation.
Right package, wrong destination.
Wrong address.
Wrong
Right
address.
package. Wrong address.
All right. How can the people tap in with you? Is there pre-orders for the book? Challenge, all of that good stuff.
You can go to seeyouatthebank.com. I have a free masterclass. So if you're like, I kind of like you, but I'm not sure, I got you. I got a free masterclass going over how to structure, fund, and market your business. If you want the real deal, Holyfield, you're ready to transform your life, transform your business, really get to the bank. You want to get to my 5-day business challenge. I have any kind of product, tax deduction guide, business plan, what you need to be able to sustain your business. I do consultation. I have a business grant bundle. So go to seeyouatthebank.com. My pre-order for my book is on there, but I will help you structure, fund, and market your business to the bank. I'm also going to help you stay mentally sane in this thing called business. So if you join my community, the Sea at the Bank University, I have a Bible and business section. I have a motivational section because it is hard out here in these business streets. So I want to make sure that our mindset is where it needs to be to be able to weather the storm, to get through it, and to thrive afterwards.
Well,
I know where to tap in.
you did it again.
Yeah, this is another good one. This is another good one.
Again, yes. All right, y'all. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Share this out to a friend. I know more than likely you will, because this is a phenomenal story. Joi has definitely been crushing it, and
Thank you.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Considering us again, out in the city. About to go have fun later at her New York meet and greet. So by the time this is released, you missed it, but don't forget the book that she got coming out, y'all. See you guys on the next episode. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Any final words, bro?
Nah, bro, this is another good one, and I'm pretty sure we interview Joi again. It's gonna be X10, X100 growth. So
probably we could do the live podcast thing, like with a whole audience is just here, just listening to us.
That'd be a good one.
Nice.
But yes, y'all. So see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.